welcome back. I have a super fun lesson for you today, and it's really easy. Today, I am going to show you how to use links in your classroom. Specifically, this time we're doing video links. It is the easiest thing in the world to do, but it's really going to take your lesson to the next level. I'm also going to show you a bunch of different examples for how I use this in my classrooms. Are you ready? Let's go! So while I was editing the video last time, I noticed that my picture here was covering up the bottom half of the animation box, so you couldn't see what I was doing once the list got really long. So from now on, I'm going to try to keep my picture on this side of the screen, and hopefully it won't get in the way anymore. Now, since we are making movies today, I added a cute little movie background. As you continue through this series, you'll notice that the backgrounds I use always match whatever the theme is of the lesson. You completely don't have to do that. In fact, you could set up a template, a lesson template, and then just copy that template every single time you make a new lesson, and you'll never have to go hunting for backgrounds ever again. But I love variety and I get bored very quickly, so I like having a variety of different colors and themes and backgrounds and all that fun stuff. But I digress. Back to the movie part. So this is like the easiest thing in the world to do. All you have to do is find a movie that you like on YouTube. So first, let's go pick something out. We're gonna go over here to YouTube, and I really like, here's a good resource, Super Simple Songs. They have a ton of English songs, and their English songs are significantly less annoying than the Pink Fong songs. Pink Fong is also widely popular. My daughter loves it. Your students will probably love it too, but personally, they're just really cringy. So if possible, I avoid Pink Fong just out of principle. And I prefer Super Simple Songs instead. So let's do this one. Put your shoes on. So let's say that this is the video that I want to use in my lesson. All I'm going to do is come up here to the search bar, and I'm going to copy this link. Then I'm going to go back to my lesson. I'm going to hit Insert, Video. It's going to ask you for the YouTube link. Now, you can also add videos from other places. It doesn't have to be a YouTube video. If you look here, you can see by URL. So if the video is from some other site, you can use this one instead. And also you can see Google Drive. So if you have a home video that you want to share with your student, maybe you took a trip to Disney World and you want to show this to your student, you can upload it to your Google Drive and then add it into your lesson. But today we're just going to do YouTube videos. So we're going to hit search and our video is going to pop up. That's the correct one. We're going to select it and there it is. Now, there are some things that you can do and there are some things that you cannot do. You cannot animate this to fade in the way that we can with regular pictures. However, you can adjust when it starts and when it stops. Very key important tip here, make sure that you click off of the box. You see how there's a line flashing here? Make sure you click somewhere and make that line go away, or it will not save the time that you entered. I once had a lesson where the student was learning the word sing, and I found a funny video of animals singing and dancing on YouTube. And there was one particular clip in this 15-minute long video. There was like a 30-second clip that I wanted to show my student, but I forgot to click off of that box, so it didn't save the spot. I didn't realize this until I had class. And when I hit play and it didn't start where I wanted it to start, I was very frustrated. I had to kind of guesstimate where it was at by sliding the fast forward button. It was very frustrating. So make sure that you click off of the time so that it will save it. Now let's go ahead and put this into slideshow mode, and I'm going to show you. You can play it like this so that your background is visible. You can see everything. You can just hit play. And it will play with no issues whatsoever. So if you want to leave it like this, no problem. Now you can also make it play in full screen. However, in order to do that, you have to make sure that your lesson is not already in full screen. You can only have one thing in full screen mode at any given time. So if your lesson is in full screen, the video will not be able to go into full screen. As you can see, mine actually says enter full screen because I'm not currently in full screen mode. But if I click this, it will get bigger. And then if I want to exit, I'll hit exit full screen. Okay. Now, if your lesson looks like this, you can then click on this box right here and make your video full screen. This is especially helpful for students who are taking class on a tablet. Then you can play the video as normal. The student can watch it. You can make comments. While you're watching the video, you can pause the video. The very first time that you pause the video, a box of recommended videos is going to pop up. But if you hit the X button on that, that will go away. That way you can still see the things at the bottom of the page. And then it won't come back up again until you get to a new video. Now, if these bars here, if these black bars, you cannot make these go away. You can shrink your video, make it bigger or smaller as much as you want to, but no matter what, those black bars are always going to be there. If you want to hide them, you can look for an overlay. An overlay is a special type of artwork that is designed to go on top of something, like a frame or curtains, things like that. So, for example, if I go over here and type in TV overlay, if I wanted to make my movie look like a TV screen, I could also do like a theater overlay or a frame, anything like that. And I can come over here, I could paste an overlay right on top, like this. I have like a movie one. The movie one I have is not big enough. I could shrink the video if I wanted to make it fit better. But yeah, you can use an overlay to hide the edges if you really want to, but it's not necessary. I usually don't because I put it in full screen mode anyway, so it's not really necessary. Now, the possibilities for this are absolutely endless. Sometimes I will use videos just to give my students a visual example of what they're learning about. Sometimes I will base an entire lesson off of a video that I found on YouTube. Let me give you a few examples. First, let's take a look at this one here. You can find a ton of Nickelodeon, Peppa Pig, Disney stuff on YouTube, little clips that you can use in your lessons. So here I have a clip from Blue's Clues, and I made an entire lesson for my younger toddlers using this video. Let's take a quick look. I'm just going to kind of peruse. So I have a vocabulary word here. Students that can already read and talk and communicate well, but they're still young enough that they play a lot in class and they get distracted pretty easily. That is what I use the definitions for. I'll have the student read that if they're able to. If they are not able to, if they're too young to read it, then I will scaffold the lesson and we'll talk about it in a different way using much simpler, less incidental language. So for example, if I'm teaching a toddler, I will totally disregard this part. I'll have them repeat the vocabulary word a couple of times, and then I'll say things like, "Do you ride the bus to school? What is he riding? What is she riding? Can you ride a bike?" Things like that. So you can scaffold this down for younger students or scaffold it up for older students. This way you have lessons that are multi-purpose. We'll talk about different types of things that you can ride on land, things that you can ride on the sea. And then I've got some funny GIFs and pictures that we'll talk about, and I'll encourage them to describe the pictures in their own words if they're able to, or I'll have them repeat sentences after me, things like that. And then we've got things that we ride in the sky, animals that we can ride, more pictures for us to talk about. And then we've got, once again, if the student is able to read, then they'll read this. If they can't read, we'll just talk about the picture. Same thing here. "Hello, I'm from Germany. I would like to visit China for the holiday. Which of these should I ride?" Another question here. And then finally, we get to our video. So we'll click on the video. Then I'll make it full screen here, just like that. The student will watch it. Let me fast forward just a little bit to right here. At this point, Josh comes up to the screen and he'll say, "Can you help me?" So I will pause the video and I will ask the students, "Do you want to help Josh?" They love the interaction. They love pausing and talking and communicating about what's happening in the video. This is that box I was telling you about right here. It pops up every time you pause the video for the first time. Just click on the X button, it will go away and it won't come back. So then I'll hit play. It'll go through a few more. So this little puppy is wanting help getting across the lake. Josh is going to come back up again and say, how can we get across the water? So I will pause the video here again and I will ask the student, what can we ride on the water? How can we ride across the water to the other puppy? Something along those lines. The student will give their answer and we will continue the video. And we'll keep doing that through the whole video. Now, important note about having a video in your lesson. Even if you watch the entire video, the whole thing has been completed and it goes back to the regular slide. If you click the screen, it will not go to the next slide. It will replay the video. So what you have to do instead is after you're finished watching the video, you need to come down here, click on your slide tab and go to the next slide. Or you can hit this arrow right here. And then I have my little outro slide. I usually include a cute picture that's related to the lesson in some way. Voila, that is the first way that I will use a video. I also will use videos to make song lessons. So here I have a Bubble Guppy song, and this one I do a little bit differently. I will tell the student, first we will listen, and we'll listen to the song together. Then we'll go through and we'll learn some vocabulary words. This one is a pretty easy song, so instead of having a bunch of vocabulary, I will ask them, do you remember your first day of school? Things like that. Then I have, once again, some funny pictures, just because I like to make class as fun as possible. And then we have the lyrics. I type the lyrics out. I include pictures over keywords to give them a visual aid and help them remember what the words mean. And we'll learn the whole song. Now, the Bubble Guppy songs are quite long. So when I teach a Bubble Guppy song, I usually will just teach the lyrics one time. But I also have this one here for Blue's Clues, where they will learn about how rainbows are formed. And with the Blue's Clues ones, I actually do these a little bit differently because they always sing the song one time, and then the character will ask Josh to sing the song himself. And when Josh sings the song, he always pauses and he asks the camera for help. So what I do with this is I actually edit the time. If you look at my format options here at video playback, but I have it starting at 18 seconds and I have it stopping at 2 minutes and 40 seconds, even though the video is about 5 minutes long. This is because I have it cut off right after the character asks for Josh's help. They'll say, now it's your turn, and then the video cuts because now it's our turn to learn the lyrics, and then we will sing it together at the end. So we'll watch the video, then they will learn some vocabulary words. Now, you would be surprised the number of very young students that can say the word refraction. You might think that this lesson is too difficult for a toddler, for a 4-year-old, but it's not. It was designed specifically for toddlers because they learn very well through music. The first time I heard this song, I was shocked. I thought, there's no way this is targeted towards toddlers. But my daughter was a year and a half. A year and a half. She could barely talk. But she could sing this song. She could say refraction. I could ask her, what 3 things do you need to make a rainbow? And she would respond, raindrops, sunlight, refraction. It absolutely blew my mind. I was so surprised to hear my 1.5-year-old use the word refraction. I have taught this lesson with every toddler I have had since I've made the lesson, and every single one of them has remembered the lyrics. When we had that big snow hit a couple of weeks ago, I had another song about snowflakes, and while we were talking about the snowflakes, I asked them if they remembered how to make a rainbow, and they did. They remembered the word refraction. You would be surprised at what these kids are actually capable of learning. So don't shy away from something if you think it might be a little bit too difficult. You can always adjust your lesson to suit the needs of your students. So after they learn the vocabulary, we have some pictures here about the vocabulary. Now, because this song is shorter, we are actually going to go through the lyrics 3 different times to really make sure that they understand the words and they're more likely to remember it. So the first time, we will just go through the lyrics as normal. Then we will watch this one where Josh is going to pause and he'll say, oh, what was that word again? I'll pause the video. I'll ask the students if they remember, and we'll continue singing from there. Then we're going to sing the song again. But this time, you'll notice that some of these words are in red. They're also underlined. Do you know what that means? Animations. You know I love animating my Google Slides, so these have some animations on them. Let's take a look. Let me exit full screen here. All right, so this is what the lyric is going to look like when it first appears on the screen. The first time we sang the song, I sang it and then the student repeated. This time, now that they've heard the song twice, if the student is able to read, I will have them sing the song by themselves. If the student is not able to read, I will sing the song, but I will pause at each of the pictures. I only put blanks if it's underneath a picture. That way students who cannot read are still able to think about the lyrics. So I'll say, oh, what was those 3 things? What were they? Raindrops, sunlight, and refraction. Right? They'll repeat it. We'll go on to the next one. Here comes what was that word again? Rainbow. Right? So every time there's a picture, and we'll do this all the way down until we get to the end of the song. Then I have one more set of funny pictures. And then if we have enough time, we will sing the song together one last time before we exit. I always include a video at the very end of it, just in case I have a student that can get through the lesson really quickly. Most of the time, we don't have time to watch the video again. So what I will do instead is I know that this is my last slide. So if I'm right here, I will skip slide 23 and go straight to 24. That way the student doesn't even know that the song is there and they're not fussing because they want to watch it again. And finally, the last way that I will use videos in my classroom is just to enhance the students' learning. So this is from the intermediate course I have. So the vocabulary is much more advanced. They're learning about vitamins and vitamin absorption. So that is kind of a tricky subject, and it's especially if English is not your first language, it can be really tricky to understand. So I included a video here that shows exactly how vitamins are absorbed into the body and where they come from. And this is super helpful to the students. It gives them a visual representation to attach to the word. It was my original intention to go ahead and talk about audio links and game links, but I think this video has gone on long enough. So we are going to stop it here. The act of adding a video into your lesson is super duper easy, but there are a ton of different things that you can do with them. I hope this lesson has inspired you and it helps you get closer to your goals of creating your own curriculum. Next time, we will talk about adding game links into your lessons instead. I hope you found this video helpful, and I can't wait to see you again soon. Bye!